Hello everyone, in this video, we will talk about the process of installing a new door frame under the old door leaf. The first thing you need to do is cut the pieces of the door frame to length. My version of the door frame is made for a standard door 2 meters high and 80 centimeters wide. The height of the door frame is calculated taking into account the gaps, the upper one, between the frame and the door, and the lower one, between the door and the floor. For the top gap I make 3 to 4 millimeters, and for the bottom one at least 10 millimeters up to the upper level of the finished floor. The side gaps are also 3 millimeters from each edge. Before installing the door, it is imperative to make sure that the floor does not have a slope. Since when the floor slopes towards the door, when opened, may come into contact with the floor covering. Such problems are solved by arranging a cement screed to level the floor, which is the most correct solution. But sometimes such problems can be solved by installing a door frame with a slight slope. I will make a reservation that of course this is completely wrong, but in a situation where it is not possible to level the floor, a slight deviation of the door frame is made. Also, an increased gap is made between the floor and the door. It should be understood that with such an installation, the door can close itself or open in the direction of the tilt. The connection of the upper lintel and the side pillars of the door frame is done at 45 degrees. For this I use an electric miter saw. If there is no electric saw on the farm, you can file the mating parts of the door frame using a miter box and a sharp hacksaw. Here it is important to fix the workpiece well beforehand. Next, I mark the place for the hinges on the door frame. The hinges are installed with an offset from the top and bottom of the door in the range from 150 mm to 250 mm. At the moment there are no clear rules for installing the hinges. In the door frame, the grooves for the hinges, I make through the jig, using a manual milling machine. Who is interested in how to make the simplest template for inserting loops? See my other video. The link will also be in the description. You can also insert hinges without a milling machine. For this you need a sharp chisel and a hammer. In order that the light part of the cut does not stand out along the gap, I use a dark marker with which I paint over the gap around the loop perimeter. After inserting the hinges, I connect the parts of the door frame. I connect the parts with each other using 2 screws on each side. Never screw in a self-tapping screw without pre-drilling the holes. Trying to screw in a self-tapping screw without pre-prepared holes, you risk spoiling the workpiece, which can easily delaminate. Having connected the cross member of the door frame with the pillars, I install the frame in the doorway. In a specific case, I install a door frame with a door with a small release towards the room. This is done due to the fact that the wall with the doorway will be faced with decorative bricks. In order for the subsequently installed platband to close the bricks suitable for the door frame. I fix the door frame by wedging the upper part between the walls with wooden blocks. I adjust the frame of the door frame with the hinges located on it according to the laser level. If necessary, you can pull it to the wall using long self-tapping screws that can be hidden under the upper and lower hinges. Here my opinion may differ from others, but still, I categorically do not recommend installing the box without rigidly fixing the door frame to the wall with self-tapping screws or screws, using only one expanding mounting foam. Having set and secured the rack of the door frame, I hang the door on the hinges and level the opposite rack. The opposite post can be fixed to the wall on metal corners or simply wedge it by inserting wedges between the wall and the frame, not forgetting to set a gap between the door and the frame where you can insert gaskets of equal thickness. Having exposed the door frame and making sure that all the gaps are observed, and the frame itself is level, I fill the space between the wall and the frame with foam. I use foam with a low coefficient of secondary expansion. Remember, foam with a high secondary expansion has serious strength. Such foam can easily deform the door frame, after which the door can be jammed in it, and the work is ruined. After drying, the protruding polyurethane foam is cut off with a knife. It is time for the installation of plat bands. That's all. I wish you good luck and see you again.